Beautiful weather set the scene for your number one ranked Cougars in the quarterfinal round of the NAIA Football Championship Series. USF rolled to a 30-3 victory over number 10 Northwestern and opened the game with their best drive of the season. 16 plays, 75 yards, chewing up 8 minutes and 47 seconds, resulting in a Nick Ferrer to Justin Green touchdown. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, it was. Of course, we had a Daytona Beach day weather, compared to the week before. So it was a good day for football. We were ready to play. Northwestern, outstanding football team. Good way to start the game, a nice sustained drive, and chewed up most of the first quarter. And then our defense took over from there. The only thing they got after we scored was a kickoff return and good field position, which resulted in a field goal, which that was the end of their day on their offensive side. Our defense pretty much controlled things.
With the short field and the Cougars figuring out the Red Raider offense, senior strong safety Lee Stewart was flying around the field, helping to hold Northwestern to just a field goal.
I thought Lee played his best football game of his career. Man, he was all over the field. He was making tackles, he was knocking down passes, he was great coverage. He played fast, he played tough. Again, a guy that is now winding down his senior year, you want him to be playing his best football. He certainly is doing that.
I mean, it's playoff time, so being a senior, I know my time clock's ticking. I don't want to go out in the first round, second round, whatever. So I just try to bring maximum energy to every rep, and a lot of the plays did come to me and they tried to test me real early, and I just wasn't going for it. I think most teams try to come after me like with the deep ball and things like that, just because like every other, like both corners and the free safety and Spencer, they all have more picks than me and everything like that, or more pass breakups and everything. But I'm ready for any other challenge. My type of game is like filling the run and helping the boundary out and dunting those guys with the run. So I wouldn't doubt if every other team that we play from here on out tries to test me deep.
Passing the test this past Saturday was receiver Dan Rixey, who played one of the best games of his career, recording 4 catches for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was named the Offensive Player of the Game.
Well, he's an outstanding athlete. He's a great physical talent. And he has really developed in year 2 as an outstanding receiver. He and Rocky both have had their share of injuries this year and have missed a number of things. Finally, we're getting everybody healed up. Rocky, I think, will be 100% this week. Danny has been here in the playoff run. So, and then you got to have the guy to put it there, and Nick Ferrer is simply the best.
That's the truth. Junior linebacker Eric Dunton was named Defensive Player of the Game, but stealing the show was the newly inserted turnover chain. Junior Stan Jackson created the chain and wanted to join the party. He did that with his interception to end the third quarter, and it was sensational.
Unbelievable play. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got great speed. He plays so fast. He plays with passion. He enjoys playing the game, and it's fun to watch him play. Ryan Johnson was out last week and tweaked an ankle. He'll be back this week. But generally the three, he and Willie and Stan and Ryan, they all rotate and keep each other fresh. Willie and Stan had to go the distance last week, and they did and played outstanding football.
Stan Jackson getting that pick, I don't know if other guys remember that or not, but Stan also had a similar pick to that in the spring game where he tipped one to himself and then ran out of the back of the end zone and just went crazy and things like that. But I love the energy that Stan brings, and it helps the other team. So the turnover chain just really brought a lot of swag to everybody. So it was just nice having that excitement.
And when Lee first burst onto the scene, it was the pinnacle of excitement. Working as a number 2 safety during his sophomore year, when his number was called, better believe Mr. Stewart was ready.
Being a sophomore, I was a young mind, and I knew the coaches didn't really have too much film on me or didn't know what I was capable of. So I just wanted to bring that trust to them. And like you said, the Marion game when I had that pick, like before that, I was talking to Seth Stewart, which was my best friend. He's still currently my best friend. And it was his senior year, and we were just talking like, it was a great game all game, and we came out with the victory, 45-42 I think it was, and I sealed the game with a pick. But Seth Stewart was the first person I ran up to and gave him a hug and everything. I told him I got his back always, and that play was for him.
And last year versus Morningside, in the NAIA FCS quarterfinal game, while fending off a back injury, Lee recorded a career-best 12 tackles.
Yeah, that game, those guys came in and played hard, no doubt. And we knew they were going to come in and play hard. Those guys were like top offense in the nation that year. And so we knew we had to battle some ups and downs that game. And I think their senior, number 9 last year, he would not drop a pass no matter how many times we hit him. So he was kind of getting frustrating for our defense. But I ended up getting hurt somewhere in like the third quarter or whatnot with a back injury. I had back spasms and whatnot. And while I was getting treatment, I just knew my team needed me, so I could not just sit out that whole game. I think I was just seeing the field more clearly a lot, because they wouldn't bring a lot of guys to come out and block me. So they would bring a lot of guys to try to block Lucas or double Lucas, because Lucas was averaging 3 sacks a game last year. He was going nuts in the nation. So I think Lucas and Dunton and Nashawn and those guys to the boundary really just opened up a lot of opportunity for me. So I just made the most of every opportunity.
Stewart's injuries from a year ago kept him from starting in last year's national championship game.
Blake ended up starting for me. He did a great job, no doubt. He got maybe 2 weeks to prepare, so I was in his ear, letting him know like what to expect, go in with confidence. I'm trying to get his confidence high. And I mean, he did a tremendous job, but going into Daytona, it was definitely an emotional ride for me, just because I didn't know if I was going to play and how much I was going to play and things like that, and how I was going to feel on the day of. So I only actually practiced the day. Our last practice before the national championship was my only practice leading up to that game. And I didn't know what to really expect. I was trying to pound in as much film as I can, or find out what Baker did here, find out what Baker did there, anything to give me a lead on what I could do to be successful. But when Blake started, I kind of was on the sideline, just motivate myself, like, when you get in here, don't even think about your injuries, just go make plays as you normally would. I think it was maybe the third possession of the game. I was riding the bike on the first and the second possession to try to get loose and things like that. And Blake was going out there doing a great job. I think they went 3 and out a couple times. And then Coach Didier gave me the chance to put me in. So I went out there and I had the knee brace on and back spasms were taken care of and everything like that. So I just try to make those things, like, clear my mind and just focus on the job at that hand.
So when Lee found out that this week's opponent was going to be the Mustangs from Morningside, he didn't waste any time getting back to work.
I've actually watched a couple of their films. I got right to it on Sunday. I don't like to let the days miss me by. But they look real similar to Northwestern's offense from last week, but they just play a lot faster and they're a lot more consistent with their calls and everything like that. But as far as like the energy and how we're going to come out with the same attitude as we did last week. We're going to try to keep them off the board and maybe not even give them 3. Some say that's the top offense in the country, but I think we go against the top offense in the country every day in practice. But this week of practice, the practice is going to be a lot more competitive, and we're going to try to get under our offensive skin, just because they say that Morningside's offense is better than ours, and I know those guys are not going to accept that. So hopefully they come out hot, and if the defense comes out hot, it'll be a great day.
A great day indeed. Morningside is ranked number 3 and coming off a 52-7 win over St. Xavier, holding the Chicago Cougars to just 209 total yards, and the Mustangs recorded a school record 9 sacks. So they handled St. X virtually the same way St. Francis did.
Well, I've known their coach, Steve Ryan, for a number of years. He's a great football coach. He's a great person, has done a super job at Morningside. I think the first time we played was about 2004, 3 or 4 in that area. And, I can't say enough good things about him. A lot of respect for him. We're not going to like each other for several hours on Saturday afternoon, but I think there's mutual respect. And it'll be a great college football game with, obviously, when you get to the Final Four, you've got great teams.
Great teams with great players. Morningside QB Trent Salzma ranks number 1 in the country in pass efficiency with a 194 rating, USF's Nick Ferrer ranks number 3 at 174. Mustang running back Bubba Jenkins pretty much goes 1 and 2 with Cougar running back Justin Green. In every category you want your running back showing up in.
Well, again, I think they're the two best tailbacks in the country. Jay Green has just had a fantastic season, and so has their tailback, and I'm sure they'll both be on par again Saturday. So this is a great football game to come see. I say two of the nation's best, if not the best. So get to Final Four, man. It's time to buckle up and see who's going to go the distance.
Starting all the games last year, then not being able to start the one that I wanted to get to, it really definitely brought a lot of motivation to me this year. Since game one, the goal's always been to get back to Daytona, not rather win this game. The goal's always been to get back to Daytona where we were last year. And I'm really just putting everything forth that I can so I can start in Daytona after we win this game. And being a senior, it's really just, like I said, my time is ticking. So I only have a couple games left, and I just want to make the most of it.